This is the Virtual Solar Pro Podcast with your host, Jarrett McAllister.
What's up and welcome to the Virtual Solar Pro Podcast. I am your host, Jarrett McAllister, and I am excited for today's episode. Today's guest is one of the baddest females in the solar industry with over 9 years of solar experience. Some of the companies she's worked with in the past, Solar City, Tesla, Sunrun, but now currently sells with Powur, where she's one of the top trainers, has earned multiple six figures, and on her way to earning that $1 million jacket. She's won several awards, including most kilowatt hours sold in the country, and last year was crowned as California's #1 premier closer. We're going to get a little bit into that later. She's the mother of 3 beautiful children, and if you want to get on her good side when you see her, I suggest that you order her a brown sugar oat milk shaken latte. Coming to you from sunny Southern California, my sister from another mister, Miss Cynthia Alvidrez. What's up, girl? Welcome to the podcast.
My God, what an intro. I love that. Can you just call me every morning and give me that intro? That's so awesome.
Dude. Well, I'll definitely send you the recording, right? You can just play it on a loop.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'll save that. Hi, Mia.
Cool.
But I'm so happy to be here. And you're one of my favorite people. I love your energy. I'm so happy to be here. So excited.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And no, feelings are mutual. You've been so good to me ever since I've been in the industry, and you've been one of my mentors, someone who I've looked up to, because you've been in this space a long time, way before I got into it. And so we can kind of get into that, or should we just talk? Let's just get this right out the way. Last year, you won #1 premier closer in the state of California, knocking off yours truly, who won it the year before by 0.6 of a point or something like that. And I just got to say this to the world. There's no person I rather have seen win that award than you, Cynthia. You're one of the hardest workers in the industry. And I'm very proud of you. Seriously.
Oh, that is so sweet. And what's funny is we were at Powur World at the convention where they gave that award. And I was like, oh, you got #1 premier closer. Oh, I want that award this year. And I totally had no idea that I was going to win that award. But it was so funny. I don't know if you remember that moment. But that award's pretty badass. The reason it's pretty badass and the reason I'm so proud of it, and I will brag all day long about that, is because it's not only a lot of sales, but it's low cancel rate. So selling is one thing, but can you actually get these sales all the way through to the finish line? It's one thing I pride myself on. So it's a combination of that and sales and a few other things. So yeah,
I love the metrics that they use. It's number of sales, it's closing percentage of presentations,
that's right. Yeah.
And then
Closing ratio.
The least amount of cancellations. It just shows that you're doing quality work, right? And people that know you, they like you, they trust you. You're able to get it from all the way from the beginning, glass on the roof, PTO. It's a grind, and to be able to do that at such a high level consistently. Said, you definitely deserve that award. I did have my wife there, saw me take #2, but
it was nice to see her.
Yeah, no, that was so much fun. The Soul Awards, man.
It was so much fun. But you know what? I want to say one thing about that, because you kind of said it. It's a lot of work to have an extremely little to no cancels, right? And I think that's the part I'm most proud of. Like I know I'm a good closer, like that part I know, but I come from customer service. I don't know if you know that. I was a restaurant manager before I did solar, and so customer service is my thing. I'm just like always looking at up-level customer service. And it's a lot of work. I think a lot of people get into the industry and they don't realize like making the sale is one piece of the art, but getting it all the way through is a totally different story. It's construction. There's a lot that goes on, and you have to really hold people's hand all the way through to the finish line. And so yeah, I'm just cool. It's cool. That's it.
Yeah. Not to mention being a fireman or a firewoman, right? Putting out fires, right? It's like that
Totally.
definitely comes up, and yeah, being customer service is a huge part of that. But you mentioned you were in customer service, so I want to ask you this. I want to go back before 9 years of solar experience. I want to talk a little bit about that customer experience that you have, or customer service experience that you have. But I want to know, the audience wants to know, what was Cynthia Alvidrez like back in high school? Who
Oh,
was
back in
she?
high
What?
school.
Yeah, like
A
what?
nerd.
What? Who were you? Like, who were you hanging out with? Were you,
Mm.
were you a nerd? Were you kind of like a
Ooh.
badass? Like, what would you think?
You know what's funny is I was combination. Okay, so I grew up in East LA. A lot of people don't know that. And so I came into high school from East LA to the Inland Empire, and I had major culture shock because I grew up around gangs and like rough streets and drive-bys. And so I came out here, I was like, why is it so quiet? And I was kind of the mean girl. Like my cousin, we'd be walking around, and she's like, don't look at people like that. And I guess I was like really mean. It took me a while to adjust, honestly. But once I settled into high school life, I was the president of the debate club. I got good grades. I did end up moving out when I was 15 years old, just because like family life was a
Oh,
little rough. Uh, yeah, so moved out when I was 15 and had my first son at 18. And so grew up really freaking quick in a nutshell. Um,
yeah, I can relate to that. I was on my own by 14. I mean, I wasn't the mean guy.
how do you do that?
I was the one I got jumped at like 13 years old by all the mean vatos at my middle school, because I had like long blonde hair and a chain wallet and a skateboard, and I came from,
And
you
bleach
know,
tips, probably.
no, never bleach tips, never had bleach tips, but yeah, like I had the like Kurt Cobain thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting jumped, and like that's no fun, but you grow up quick, you
Probably
grow up
from some of
early.
my friends.
Hope not.
Hope not. Yeah.
No,
Where
but
did you live?
no, it forces you to grow up early, like that, and it forces you to hustle, right? And you gotta fend for yourself, learn how to survive,
Totally.
um, that get it attitude. So, growing
You
up on
gotta,
the mean streets of East LA and moved to the Inland Empire, and then what did you do before solar? Like, so I think people really like to hear about, people's journey before
into
solar, and like
solar.
what are some of the jobs that you did before solar?
Yeah, so actually, right before I moved out, I was 15, and back then you could get a permit from high school to go and work. And I went to my local Elephant Bar, and Baskin Robbins, and I got two jobs at once. Um, and Baskin Robbins didn't last long, but Elephant Bar was my first restaurant job. And I worked there as a hostess, and I paid my own rent when I was 15. I got a little couple to rent me out their garage studio. And so I lived there and paid my own rent at 15. I convinced them I was going to school and I would pay my rent, and they let me rent out their garage. I wasn't legally emancipated, but just kind of did it on my own. And like you said, you learn to fend for yourself. You learn that, no one's going to help you out, and you just have to work extra hard. And I've just never stopped working since. That's why I work so hard, probably. But yeah, I went from Elephant Bar to Applebee's and then Chili's. And then at Chili's, I became a restaurant manager at 21. And I managed for about 10 years. And so, Yeah, I managed for Chili's and BJ's restaurants. And at the end of my restaurant career, I was pretty burnt out. They're long hours, 14-hour shifts. I was managing a team of like 200 people, and I had a ton of responsibility. I did like inventory, ordering, staffing, orientation. And oh, this is the fun part. I realized that the people I was hiring, this is why you got to ask people how much money they make, right? Because I figured out they were paying me like, I don't know, my salary ended up being like 60K a year. And then plus bonuses, I ended up at like 70 grand or something. And back
That's
then, that was
pretty good
good money.
though.
Yeah,
That's pretty
great
good,
money back
especially at
then.
that age.
For sure. No. I mean, when I was 21, I started like in the low 50s, but then at the end of my career, I was at, with bonuses around 70, which was very good. I was very happy with it. But little did I know, I was training people that were under me that were making 80, 85. And one of those people, I remember like sitting and looking at him, and I was like busting my ass one day on a shift, and he was like sitting eating for like an hour and a half. And I was like, the math isn't mathing, right? Like the math is not mathing here. And so I knew I wanted to go into industry where the harder I work, the more I make. And I knew that was sales.
Yes.
And then I was introduced to the solar industry. And Jonathan Bernasso, we went on a hike. He actually, I met Jonathan like 15 years ago. He came into Chili's where I was working, and that's how I met him, and then connected with him later. We went on a hike. He told me about the solar industry, and I thought, wow, this is sales. This is the future. I can sell savings, no problem. I saw it as where we were going and where our earth needed to go. And yeah, I jumped ship and was all in.
Awesome. So what year was that?
That was almost 9 years ago. It'll be 9 years in May. So where are we? 2024.
So like
I can't do
2015
math
or
in my
something?
head. Yeah, 2015. I started with Solar City. It's funny because, I did back then, like I said, I was
Back then,
making
solar was a
decent
scam.
money for back then. Yes, it was very hard to sell solar back then. Totally. I had to convince people it wasn't a scam, but I did pretty well coming out the gate. When I started, I had my first no-show, and then my manager was like, go knock doors. And I'm like, okay. And then I did, and I had a bunch of sales, and I was like, this is easy. But the sales, not, it's half the battle.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And gosh, I don't know what this structure was at Solar City back then, if you had like a base salary or whatnot, or if it was
Mhm.
commission only. Because what got me excited about sales was you eat what you kill, right? Like I be damned, I'm a hard worker. I put in the work. I usually outperform, my peers. But if you're doing all that in like a base salary situation, you could be working your freaking ass off, and the
Yeah,
other person next to you slacking, and you're getting paid the same amount. No,
totally.
no.
Totally. And
And
what's funny about those jobs is like sometimes you get a base salary and it's totally an illusion of security because you think, cool, I'm making, those companies back then in the industry for solar were paying 20 to 30K salaries plus a company car plus commission. But the commissions were so small that
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you had to make, 20 to 30 sales a month just to make six figures.
Sure. And my belief is like when you have a base salary plus commission, you're really just taking the earnings from the top producers, and you're keeping the bottom feeders afloat with this base
With the
salary.
salary, for sure. 100%. I saw that happening a lot. Definitely. And it's just weird too, because a lot of those companies, they have like company fed leads and they give you leads and they keep you busy with, quite honestly, pretty shitty leads, right? Like I was running around. We talk about this all the time. Like we do virtual sales now in solar, but a lot of those companies do in-person sales, which I used to be a big fan of. And I was the only one on my team that was willing to drive far for the far appointments, and that ended up screwing me because I couldn't have as many appointments in a day as they could. And so, it just virtual sales are so much better. You can do so many more appointments in one day.
Sure. And you could sell all over the freaking country too. You're like,
All over the country. Yeah.
last podcast we had Wally on, and, he was talking about how he was limited to his little area. And I mean, just being in Southern California. And if he had a homeowner who had a referral from a cousin up in NorCal, he had to send it off as a referral to somebody. He couldn't,
Yeah.
he couldn't handle it. Or with now, it's like, hey, I got a cousin in Florida who's looking for solar. Sure, I'll take care of him. All across the country. So huge benefits to that. And
Yeah, totally.
so you were doing in-home personal, presentations. When did you make the switch to virtual?
Ooh, this is a story. I'll try not to make it too long. But so I did in-person sales for 5 years between Solar City, Sunrun, or Solar City, then became Tesla, then Sunrun. And that was during COVID. I actually had my third child, and I had two babies back to back, my two youngest. One day after I came back from maternity leave, they let me go. They laid me off because they laid off like 40% of their company because of COVID. And I was like, I called them because I thought they made a mistake. I was like, you just laid off one of your top performers. What's going on? And they were like, actually, when you were 8 and 9 months pregnant, your numbers weren't that great. So we let you go. Right. Yeah, which is perfectly legal, by the way, because I had switched companies and had not been with them for quite 1 year yet. So I was in like this weird probationary period. But I thought it was interesting. Those companies have a very, what have you done for me today versus what have you done for me lately? I was a consistent top performer, very consistent sales, brought a lot of sales in. And like I told you, I was one of the only ones on my team willing to drive certain places that other people were not. So it was really, really a slap in the face. And it just made me realize that I was at the mercy of a supervisor, and I was at the mercy of today's sales. And I really wasn't my own boss. You know what I mean? And so I had been introduced to Powur a year prior, and I was like, no way. I'm not going to go to another solar company. I'm not going to do commission only sales. I had that illusion of security with my commission, my company car.
Sure.
But at that point I had no choice, right? Because it was COVID. I had my third baby. I had babies in my hand, juggling babies. And I'm like, I need to bring in some income, like I need to do something. And the skills that I have is selling. And so, I told Jonathan Bernassa at Powur, I was like, okay, fine. I was getting referrals from customers still. And so I told him, okay, fine, I'll put one in. And then I got a check, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This company pays way more than any other company. They must be scamming people, right? So I was like, let me see. Seriously, I was like, Powur scamming people. And then I was like, let me see what they're offering customers. They were offering customers better equipment at better pricing with a better warranty. And I was like, wait, you mean to tell me I can offer my customers better protection for their homes, better equipment, better pricing, a better warranty, right? Better protection, and make more money? And then I realized that the companies I've been working for were keeping so much of my commission for themselves. And it wasn't going into customer service. They weren't taking care of the customer. They didn't care about the earth, none of that. So it was off to the races after that, my friend. I've been very happy. I've been with this company now for over a few years. And yeah, just
And
everything has changed.
Yeah, making your way up the ranks. And as I mentioned in your intro, you're very close to getting the prestigious $1 million jacket. I believe you will be the first female in that club.
Actually, I'll be the second, because I think Maria, who was my idol when I joined Powur, she is the first and only female to win the $1 million jacket. And so I will be the second. I'd gladly take silver.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know all about that. But
oh yeah, with the award, with the California award. That was quick.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Being a female in the industry. When I was talking to my wife earlier today, and I was, excited to have you on. My wife loves you. And I was talking about some questions I want to ask. I was like, I'm going to ask her about, what it's like being a female in the industry, the pros and cons and how it is. And my wife was like, you don't want to ask her that. You'll be opening up a can of worms. And I was like, well, I'm going to hand her a can opener because I want to know, I mean, what is your experience? Is it different? Do you get treated differently? Go into that a little bit.
Um, I would say, I shared with you a little bit that in other companies, I was treated very differently. There was no empathy for being extremely pregnant and and having babies and being on maternity leave because it's all a numbers game, right? That's
Sure.
all. They were all within their legal rights, though. But it's just, it just takes the heart out of everything. And so women naturally we're nurturers, we're very nurturing people. I like the company that I'm with because they foster us being nurturing. I do think women bring something different to sales and solar in general. I feel like we bring that heart, that caring nature for customers, um, because it's in our nature to do so. I do feel like women are underestimated, just severely underestimated in general. That's not just in the solar industry, but in many different industries, and not by everyone, right? Obviously, and
Sure.
it's a can of snakes, not a can of worms. but but you know what? I feel like there are companies that are very soul centered. Powur is one of them, in my opinion,
For sure.
and they nurture everyone's strengths. And so I think that, for women, my advice would just be to look for one of those companies. And I happen to work with one, and I'm very, very grateful because they just do business completely different and they allow females to thrive. Whereas, I wasn't thriving as much at other companies. So that's all I got to say about that.
Cool. Yeah. You hear the saying, diversity is our strength. And, sometimes I go, yeah, you're just saying that. I don't know if it really is true, but I would say, here at Powur, diversity truly is our strength. I mean, we have people from all different
100%.
backgrounds and different career types and shapes and sizes and colors and gender. I mean, it's like, it's really awesome, the culture that, that they've put together here, and they do empower you, based upon your strengths.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's, shout out to them for really doing
totally.
that.
Because you know what? It could really be like that's what the solar industry and sales is known for. It's kind of like that bro culture, like I hear
Sure.
everyone say it all the time. So it can be like that, but I don't feel that here at this company. And there are other companies out there that, I think they're getting more with the times today and they're just becoming a little bit more inclusive.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. And so let's go back real quick. You make the switch to virtual.
Mhm.
I want to know, people want to know, how has that impacted your life? Right? What are the differences now that you're doing
Um,
virtual, and are you still doing some in person, or is it 100% virtual? What would you say,
it's
your ratio is?
So during COVID, when I first started with this company, I was 100% virtual for about a year and a half. I didn't set foot outside my office, and because I had a brand new baby, we're talking about a 1 month old, right? I was working with him on my lap, and so the first 6 months were just really about building my pipeline. I was actually only working 1 day a week at that point, and I was still able to hit six figures, which in our industry, six figures isn't a lot. Like that's pretty standard for the solar industry. But being able to do that 1 day a week, working 6 hours a day, like it was pretty substantial to me. And after I saw that, I was like, wow, I was able to raise my baby, stay home with my baby, and give him so much attention, give my little one so much attention, and still make a great living. What would happen if I actually go part time or even full time? And so that's what I did for the next few years. And I've made life, like when people say life changing income, I think it sounds so corny, but it really has like completely changed my life. When you go from in person to virtual, you can fit so many more appointments in a day. I don't know why I ever did it different before. And customers like it too. They don't want you in your house. Come on, that's so inconvenient. They don't want to clean for you. If
Seriously.
given, yeah, really, right? Like if given the choice, if you told customers, homeowners, would you rather have virtual or in person? Rarely do I ever have anyone suggest in person. Like they would rather do a Zoom. It's quick, it's easy, and it's convenient for everyone.
It is. And I feel like in certain ways, you kind of even have like more control because like they're focused in on you, right? You have their direct attention. You're staring right at each other the entire time. And with all the different tools that we have accessible to, and being able to show the pitch deck and be able to run credit right there and sign docs right there, it's extremely convenient. You're
And you
not
can
wasting
do it in sweats or shoeless.
business up top, right? Just
Party on the
chillaxing down
bottom.
bottom. Yeah. I know, like during the summertime, so it's hot, and I'll have like just a nice little button up t-shirt, and then I'll just have like some 5-inch shorts underneath. They have no clue. Or yeah, definitely sweats and slippers.
It's a new style. Yeah, I love working comfortable. I sell better that way. So,
And so I was going to ask you, about work-life balance, because I think you and I have talked about this, other times of like, man, when you have children and a family and soccer games and, a spouse and events outside of solar, like how to you juggle work-life balance. I think it's pretty obvious. Like when you switch over to virtual, it does free up a lot of time, right? Rather than an
yeah.
hour to an appointment, hour plus appointment, hour back. You just do an hour long appointment really quick. You just save 2 hours. So it definitely helps out with that. But how do you manage, work life balance, and performing at such a high level?
It's all about time blocking. I think these went out, so I'll just talk here. Yeah, it's all about time blocking for me. I just live by my calendar. And so everything's scheduled for me. In the morning time, I'm getting the kids ready for school, getting them off to school. Maybe it depends. And then sometimes I'm picking them up from school, and then I'll schedule sometimes dinner or the bed and bath time routine. So those are all scheduled blocks. And then I have so many hours in the day still available for appointments. So that's what's cool about working virtual and not working for someone else, is you really set your own schedule. And so it's just crazy what you can do in a day. Like this morning, I blocked out an hour and a half, got the kids ready to school, dropped them both off, ran 2 meetings, picked another one up from school, came back, ran this meeting. And then after this, I have another meeting. And then I blocked out dinner time for us and bath time later. So everything's just scheduled. And there are specific days for anyone getting started too. Like I always tell them, schedule the hours that you're going to work and really have a plan for those hours. And that's how I did it. And I shared with you, right? Like when I started working virtual, I was only working 1 day a week. I had to be so crazy efficient in that 1 day. I could not waste a single minute. And so I would think about it ahead of time. Like, what's my day going to look like tomorrow? What's it going to look like this week? What can I do to prepare for these meetings? What can I do to fill my calendar with appointments? And I would just make sure that I was just on it, because I had no choice. Like I'm the boss, right? I make my own schedule. So I would say time blocking, thinking ahead, and scheduling quality time with the fam, and scheduling time off. You guys, take some fucking time.
Yes.
Excuse my language. Take some time off. You know what? My first 5 years in solar, there were many summers where I worked 7 days a week for week back-to-back weeks, trying to make sales, and I was running on fumes, trying to, for little commissions, trying to do all these sales, and it didn't serve me. And now I block every single weekend off. That's my time to reset, prepare for the week, spend quality time with my family. That makes it so much easier to be productive during the week when you have business to take care of.
Seriously, I can't even think about living life without the calendar. And I don't even know how I survived without the calendar. I know my wife hated it when I didn't put things on the calendar. And over the past few years, gosh, probably like the past 4 years. I live off my Google Calendar. Is that what you use? You use Google?
To- oh yeah, totally. Do you send your wife's calendar invites when
Oh
you
yeah,
book
so
a
her so her calendar synced up with my calendar. I have a secret
Awesome.
calendar, like if I have stuff that I don't want her to know about. Um, but
What are you doing on that on your
like maybe a
calendar?
surprise date or something like
Oh,
that, or
okay.
I mean,
It's
there's
just
certain
ladies stick together, so I just had to
yeah.
make sure.
No, it's nothing crazy like that, but yeah, it's like having those synced up.
Yeah.
For us, our routine is coffee in the morning, like early before we get the girls
Mhm.
up. And so that allows us to really plan about our day, talk about what we're having for dinner tonight, just kind of plot those things out. We missed it the other morning because somebody might have slept in. And it
Threw
wrecked the
off the
rest
whole
of the
day.
day. We had no connection. What's going on for dinner? And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that's like super important for us and our family.
Mhm.
Is make sure we got
I
that
love
morning coffee time.
I love that. I love that you guys do it together too, that coffee time. I might start me yeah, I need to start trying that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I highly recommend it. So definitely, blocking out time, use Google Calendar. What other tools do you use for virtual sales?
I use Calendly to
Okay.
book Zoom.
Yep.
So I have Calendly linked to Zoom, and when a homeowner reaches out for a proposal, I send them my Calendly app, and I pre-screen. So instead of doing discovery calls, it'll have a few questions on there like, do you plan to increase your electricity usage? Do you know how old your roof is? Just so I have a heads up if I need to request a roof quote or know any other information. It also does ask, what information do you feel is relevant to share? And a lot of people put really good things in there, like I'm shopping around, I'm getting quotes, I'm concerned about this or that. And so I have some of that information up front. When they book on my calendar, it sends them a Zoom link automatically. And so that's one of the tools I use. Google Calendar, obviously. I use MailChimp for newsletters. That's something I'm setting up right now. I use quite a bit of tools. I use Canva for different things. Mm,
Canvas fire.
Canva's so awesome. It's like your own little graphic designer, and you could do so much on there. You could like edit YouTube videos and make social media posts that look professional. And I can do slides on there. I do presentations on there. So
Really?
yeah, there's a ton you can do.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
done.
totally. Like a lot.
I was gonna say I haven't used it that much. I've done like a couple of graphics, but my wife is great at it, right? She's like, or even like birthday card invitations, or just all types. She's done media and like posters for me, stuff on Canva. It's sick, and it's so intuitive and easy to use. So that's a great tip. Yeah, using Canva. People always ask, "Do you have any like marketing flyers?" So I'm like, dude, just log into Canva and make it. You can type in whatever it is that you want, and there's a template for it.
Yeah, yeah. And what's cool is like we don't have to do too much of that. My company's a Powur. I keep saying my company because I'm used to like leaving it generic. But Powur has a marketing site, and so they have a lot of pre-made graphics on there already, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. So I don't think too hard about marketing material. I just go in and use what they already have, and it's already pretty good. So luckily, I don't need to make too many things myself. Honestly, the way I run my business is pretty simple. Like I use Zoom, I use Canva. I don't use a CRM. I use a good old Excel sheet to track my customers, and it's a whole like operations management system that me and my assistant use to manage all the customers that come in.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about that. You recently leveled up and got yourself your own assistant to help manage your projects. Because when you're crushing the way that you do, you have, your pipe is full and you have so many projects going all at once. And it's hard to be super mom and selling and managing the pipeline. So you got an assistant recently to help you with that. How has that changed things for you?
I could cry because I just wish I would have done it sooner. I've actually been working with her for like 8 months, 10 months now, something like that. So we're actually coming up close to a year, and it's been phenomenal. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. But man, has it been a lifesaver, because the first half of last year was in California, NEM 2.0, that transition to NEM 3.0. I just got slammed. I was like turning away business. I had to shut down business because there was so many sales. And so, at one point there was like 150 projects in the pipeline and more coming. And I was like, I need help like yesterday. I need help like 6 months ago, right? So, my friend Christina, who God, she has so many skills. And she's customer service focused like I am. She helps me with my business, and she just does so much. I'm so grateful for her. So yeah, anyone kind of on the verge of asking or, for an assistant or hiring their first assistant, do not wait. Totally worth it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I have a virtual assistant out in the Philippines, and she logs in and she manages my pipeline, and she communicates with the project managers and just, hey, where are we at with the permits, or have we gotten the site survey back? Do we have designs back yet? Right. Which is great. But she's not to the level of, with yours US based. She's actually like calling the customers, calling HJ, right? Like really kind of getting involved, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but you do get what you pay for, right? So
yeah, 100%. And I knew, like, I told you, I'm customer service focused, so I'm pretty picky. It was really hard to like let go of that control where you're having someone talk to your customers. So that's just how good she is. I needed someone that was really, really good, that would be able to speak to customers the way I speak to them, that would put them first, all of that. So she does that. And then she helps with other stuff as well, like administrative stuff.
So you're not a solar badass unless you're making solar sales, and you make a ton of solar sales, and you've had a lot of success working with realtors. That's actually kind of one of your claim to fame, is that you work real estate offices. But talk to us about how you generate your leads. Is it a lot of referral based? Is it through working with realtor partners? But like, talk about your lead generation. What works for you?
Sure. I have a few main ways. So the first way I started generating leads was just by posting on social media and reminding people I do solar. My first 5 years in solar, I didn't want to bother friends and family with that knowledge. And I was almost embarrassed. I don't know why. And I think as the years went on, I was just so much more confident with saying, this is a really good deal and can help a lot of people. And so I got more confident with posting on social media. The minute I did that, and listen, I think I only had like 1,000 friends at the time. I still only have like 1,500 or something. I had so many referrals from social media just by being consistent and just by posting. Because when I started at Powur, I had no choice. I wasn't getting company leads, so I had to start generating my own. So boom, social media, number one way. You could talk to hundreds of people about what you do at once. If you're not posting on social media, you're crazy. You're just crazy. That's honestly. So that's the
in
first
2024, especially. Yeah, it's like, if you're not posting on social media, what are you doing?
100%. Second way was I attend a local networking group. A lot of people know like BNI, Business Networking International. I'm a part of a group called Team. These groups are specifically designed to swap referrals. And there's businesses from all industries, real estate, commercial, and we get together once a week and we have lunch because we need to eat anyway, right? So we get together, we have lunch, we help each other's businesses. And I have gotten into so many solid referrals. Some of the best referrals I have gotten have been for that group. So I would never not be a part of one of those groups. And then the third way, most recently over the last couple of years, was our real estate offices. So I got connected to a real estate office, and it started with one. And here's the thing, realtors hate solar. And they hate solar for very good reasons. Solar has been a pain in the ass for them for a very, very long time, for many reasons. There were solar companies out there that just had terrible contracts. They did some people dirty, right? Just people who didn't know what they were doing, and many other reasons. But most of it is education. A lot of realtors don't actually know how solar works, and you can't blame them. They can't learn this overnight. So a lot of solar people actually stay away from realtors. But what they should be doing is partnering with realtors. And so I think when we figured that out, we started bringing solar education to real estate offices. And I just started showing up and educating until people started realizing, like, wow, solar is a really good deal for my clients. And they started realizing that there's someone who's going to knock on their client's door. It might as well be someone they trust instead. And that's it. That's how it started. It started with one real estate office, and then it grew to other real estate offices. I have partnerships here and there. And that's how I get a lot of my leads. Another way I get leads is for newer people that join our company. I get 50% of their sales for training them and helping them close their first sales until they're ready to be on their own. So that has been a massive lead source for me.
One of the best lead sources in the solar industry is being a tier 3 seller with Powur. Let me tell you.
It totally is. And I'm not going to take credit, because what I think 70% of my sales come from that. It's enormous. It's an enormous amount. And I don't generate all my own leads, but I create armies of people who generate leads. And that's where it's at, period.
It really is an incredible business model that is self-fulfilling when you think about it. Bring people in, they need help. They're excited about selling solar. So they generate leads, and it's usually warm market leads, right? They're like, yeah, my dad's looking to go solar, or, hey, my daughter's soccer coach wants to go solar, right? So then they come into you, you get paired with a solar expert who takes you under the wing. I'm not going to say it's an easy sale, but it's a lot warmer than some.
Let's talk about that. It's so easy. It is.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, should go for it. Yeah, it is.
Because I ran around at these other companies chasing, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, crappy company leads, because that's what they are. They're cold leads. There's someone in a store in Costco trying to strong arm you into an appointment. They're saying yes, and they don't really want to. They just want to shop and get their rotisserie chicken. They don't want a solar appointment, okay? They don't. They're just telling you yes. So guess what happens when you show up to that appointment? They probably won't show up. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that it's not a recommendation from someone they trust, and so that is the beauty of working with warm leads. They close at a much higher rate.
Oh,
That's
seriously.
just it's statistics, and I'm not saying, because look, there's cold leads that can turn warm, that you can warm up.
Sure.
But trust me, from experience, there is nothing compared to a warm lead, compared to a realtor saying that they trusted with their home purchase, the most important decision of their life. There is nothing better than a realtor saying, hey, I know you trusted me with your home purchase. I need you to trust me with this solar. It's going to help you out.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. And, here we are, March 2024, and this real estate agents, mortgage brokers, they're hurting. They're hurting. Home sales are down. Loans are way down, like, who wants to buy a house at 7% interest right now? Not a lot of people.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we are getting a lot more lender partners as well. It's not just real estate. Those industries are very, very aligned. What I like about those industries is they do business a lot like us. I'm all about service to the client, and they really take care of the client. They really value the client professional partnership. And so, dude, you know what? One of my realtor partners was telling me that from her referrals alone over the last year and a half, from her 50%, just one of my partner, okay, 170 grand is what she got for her referrals from just her half passively. Okay,
she made 170 grand from her referring over solar clients to you.
Correct. Over the course of a couple of years.
Okay, over a couple. I was like, in 1 year, I was like, dude, she's crushing it. But I mean, that's still amazing.
Yeah,
All she's doing.
this is just her connecting, right? Like she has a killer real estate business as well, and she's not the only one. I have other partners who, their goal might just to be to refer a few people, but they're, we're covering their car payments, we're just creating a good stream of easy revenue for them is what it is.
And educating them, you said that you nailed it, right? It's like educating realtors how solar works, because solar's not going away. It's not, right? It's becoming the norm. When you go buy a house, there's a good chance it does have solar on it. So you kind of want to work with an agent that understands solar, the value of it. It's definitely an asset, especially when it's marketed properly. If you get yourself into an agent, it's like, oh, you got solar and that's going to be tough. Like, that's the wrong way to do it. When you're like, oh, hey, you know what? Yo, your house has solar and you have a $230 payment as opposed to like a $500 SoCal Edison payment. This is going to be hot. This is going to help sell this home.
Totally.
And, easily transfer it over to the new buyer. When you educate them, it just makes them that much stronger. I think Bernasa was actually a solar realtor, right? Because he's always had his license and he marketed it that way. I don't know how much real estate he's really doing these days, but he marketed it as a solar realtor. And another advice I would give for people is that find yourself a certified green realtor, right?
Yeah.
You have realtors who are like all about, being good for the environment and eco-friendly. And if you can show them how they can add solar to their book of business, because what I tell them, Cynthia, because a lot of my business does come from realtor partners. I've been marketing to realtors since 2016, when I was getting them to refer me to their the buyer of their brand new home to get them an ADT security system, and based on a $200 referral. I mean, I transfer it over to solar, but what I tell them, I say, look, your clients are going to go solar with or without you.
Yeah.
And rather than having some kid from out of state on a blitz knocking on their door who's going to sell them some, overpriced, underperforming system, and they're going to have a bad experience, they can go with someone who they know and trust and work with you and us. And then we can hook you up and, you can partake in this and really benefit from your clients going solar and they have a good experience.
For sure. Yeah. And speaking about door knockers, I always tell this story when I talk to realtor partners. I had this guy knock on my door and he was trying to sell me solar. And I told him, hey, I do solar, right? Solar with Cynthia. I do solar. And he was like, oh, well, do you need more solar? I was like, no, I'm good. And he was explaining the way solar works to me. Okay. He was trying to explain. And I told him the information you're giving is wrong and you're going to screw over a lot of people. Would you like to have a conversation? I actually sat at the door with him for a good 10 and 15 minutes and was trying to educate him on how to sell solar responsibly. And he said, you know what? My company's actually going out of business. So not only does my new neighborhood friend not know how to sell solar responsibly, but his company is going out of business and he is knocking on doors. And this is the story that I share with realtors, is not to knock all door knockers, right? Because there are some reputable ones, even in our company, that do business the right way, but you just never know. You never know who's knocking on your door. That kid went to go knock on my neighbor's door after I schooled him on solar. They have no shame.
Can we get into that really quick? Can we talk about some of the shit that's going on in the solar industry right now? And it is crazy times. There, especially in your market, California, with the NEM 3 changes, I'm seeing so much fuckery going on. Competitive quotes coming from other companies, undersizing systems, first of all, right?
Yes.
Not adding, either not adding enough batteries or no batteries at all. Just saying, oh, we'll just add more solar to offset your bill, which is total bullshit.
That's what this is. Yeah.
And they undersize systems because the cost is way lower. They overpromise the world and they're just trying to make a sale, and it is extremely unethical. And I slice and dice those fuckers every single time. If I get one of those quotes from, one of my
Yeah.
homeowners who's shopping and doing their research, and I educate them on why we're going with this size system. Oh, he didn't account for the EV that you're going to be driving 20,000 miles a year for. Like, you're going to end up with this $3,000 true up at the end of the year. Oh, he said you didn't need batteries. Does he not understand that you actually need batteries to power your home in the evening? Oh, one battery was going to do the whole thing. So it's crazy. There's a lot of unethical shit going on. And
what pisses me off more than anything? Solar is good. Even in California with the changes, solar is so good just the way it is.
it is.
Why do you need to sugarcoat it? Why do you need to lie to people? And I'll be the first to tell you, I cringe sometimes when I see like some solar reps and they're talking about their sales techniques, their sales tricks, it sounds like so manipulative to me. Homeowners can sense that energy. Okay, they can sense it. If you are coming from a place that is disingenuous, if you are coming from a place of manipulation, it's probably why they didn't sign up with you, right? Because maybe you did get them to sign up because you tricked them into a site survey, but they can sense that, and my motto for a consultation is always to just be a person and treat them like I would my family.
Totally.
Treat them, take care of them like I would treat my family, like I would treat my tia or my cousin, or my own home. Because here's the reality of it. If you screw people over, they are not going to want to refer you. And
and referrals are like the blood life of our industry. Like, I mean, really, it's all about referrals. And if you're in this for the long haul, like you are, like I are, it's the last thing you want is a call from a homeowner saying, Cynthia, how come I got this huge bill at the end of the year? Right? And start burning bridges and no one will refer you. That'd be an end game to your career. I love that. Yeah. And I actually tell people that when I talk to people and when they're out, when I'm showing them different sizes and options and different equipments, I tell them a lot. I say, listen, this is what I would put on my mother's house. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I would put on my own family member's house. And that's such great advice, is to treat your homeowners like they are family.
Yeah. So let's put that out there. Let's put that out there into the internet. Let's stop with these tricks, with these techniques. Okay, just serve the customer, give them a good deal, explain it to them properly, and take good care of them.
Dude, let's go. I'm down for that. Alvidrez 2024. Let's go. I love it.
Ooh.
Right on. All right. So I'm going to ask you a few other questions here. Let's get into some fun stuff. Well, first of all, I want to know, who were your sales mentors? Like, who kind of just showed you the ropes? Like, who do you look up to right now?
Oh gosh, in sales?
Yeah, like in solar.
In solar.
Like,
okay, so
who showed you how to sell solar?
Okay, so actually, if I were to think back to it, I had a team of, and they were very experienced. Like, they were older than me and they were experienced in solar, and they sold solar the right way. And thank God I came into this team. One of them was Donovan Martinez at Solar City. And I shadowed him on the first appointment, and he said just what I said to you now, which was just take care of the customer, explain it, make sure they understand it, make sure they feel good about it. And he was just so kind and caring with the customer. And I took that from him. Another person was Daryl Daniels. Daryl Daniels was at Sunrun, and he was my manager, and just such a good energy. He reminds me a lot of you. Like, you guys just have like that high energy, just good attitude. Customers loved him. And so I loved watching him sell. Another one was this guy, Mark, that was on my team. Again, just very kind, very polished, very professional. I feel like I took a little bit from all those people. And then Jonathan Bernasso, I also shadowed. It was so funny. I actually shadowed Jonathan Bernasso. And I remember thinking that I thought like his consultation was very subpar. I was like, that's all you do? Because he was just like, with the customer, he's like, do you want it or not? But listen, it works. Okay. And now that you asked that question, no one has ever asked me that question. Now that you asked that question, I realize I am a sum of all of those people because I am no pressure. And what I did take from Jonathan that I realized was so brilliant at the time was just that no pressure. If you sign up, it's good. If you don't, no big deal. And that is why I'm not a one call close. It's funny that you had Wally on last because I do not believe in the one call close. I believe in letting them swim out before I reel them in.
Okay.
And it just works, it just works. So gosh, I'm so grateful for those people actually, and grateful that those were my first mentors.
That's interesting.
Paul Leon too.
Thank
I
you.
can't forget
Solar
Paul
OG.
Leon. I always say his last name wrong. But yeah.
Is it really Leon? I've been calling him Paul Leon for like 5 years. Are you sure it's Leon?
He always corrects me. I've been saying Leon and it's Leon. But listen, this guy would get pissed off if he would hear someone selling solar the wrong way. You're the first person to make a mistake on Facebook, and he will. But you know what? That's where I get like my integrity from with sales, was watching. Those were my mentors. They drilled it into my head, like sell it right, sell it good, sell a clean deal, take care of the customer. Don't pressure them.
Paul is probably the most ethical solar salesperson in the industry. And it'd be hard to find anyone. What I love about him is he will tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, or whether it makes the company look good or bad. He is just all about the pure truth when he speaks. And I've always respected the hell out of him for that. He is the true solar OG. I've learned so much from him. What's that?
He is the OG. What's funny though? I was thinking about like coming on this podcast, and I was thinking like about you, and like we have a tight little group. We have like a little solar crew, a little gang, if you will, of people that we all like to hang out with when we go to events. And I was just thinking, the reason that we all get along so well is because we're all like that. We're all like that. Like we all sell in a similar style. Like we sell with integrity, and we like to take care of the customer, and we like to do things right, and we like to win.
Amen to that. And, I learned a long time ago, you don't need to lie in sales, right? Like, I feel like sales get such a bad rap, and you're like trying to sugarcoat shit or hide things over here or makes things seem like it's not just to get the sale. But when you speak with truth and integrity and authority, right? And when you not afraid to tell a customer, sorry, I'd love to tell you that that's how that is, or I'd love to say we can do that, but that's not how it works. They will respect the shit out of you because they don't feel like you're bullshitting them, right?
Right.
Oh, I heard that. So can you guys get this installed in 60 days? The other company said, I go, absolutely not. We're talking about permitting. We have batteries included here. The fire department's getting involved. We just had an M2 rush. I was like, yeah, timelines are like 4 to 6 months right now at this, last year during the rush. Anybody who said that they're going to get this installed in the next 60 days is totally blowing smoke.
It's lying to you.
It's total bullshitting you and trying to earn your business. And then when you're 60 days into the project and you're nowhere close to having your permits done, they don't care because they already got your business and you signed with them.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to tell you that if that was the truth, but that's just not the case. But when you're not afraid to tell them the truth and exactly what it is, you're going to earn so much more business that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so selling with integrity, yes, definitely Paul is huge on that. He's not afraid to correct a motherfucker on Facebook. I'll tell you that.
I love that. It's funny you mentioned that too. It's like when you read bad reviews on solar, most of the time it's related to what the rep didn't explain or some like integrity piece of it that they weren't right with. When I read any reviews, whether it's with whatever company, it always comes back to the rep, not necessarily their company. It's my rep didn't
Yes.
explain it right. They hid something from me, or they didn't call me back, or I can't get a hold of them now. Yeah, because they probably sold you a bad deal and they don't want to own up to it now, which is just so terrible. Dude, I hate salespeople. I do. And I think that's why I try so hard not to be one, right? Like I try so hard just to be like real with people, because I said this earlier. People can feel your energy. They can feel when you're not doing them right. That's it.
100%. Yeah, I think the days of the old school, like being cheesy and salesy and using sales tactics, that shit does not work these days. People are hip to all that BS. They totally go off of vibe. They go off of integrity. You're going to earn so many, not only are you going to close more deals, but you're going to earn so many more referrals because people are going to be happy to refer you to their cousin or neighbor because you're going to take care of them.
Mm-hmm. Have you
No,
ever been taught, like one of the first things I was taught was, hey, when you go into someone's home and you see like sports stuff, pretend you like sports. Like you have to mirror them.
okay. Yes, I have been taught that, but not
What
exactly like that.
justification are you going to
Well,
give now?
so, I did in-home sales presentations forever, for years and years and years. And I was the number one closer
Okay.
in the country with ADT security. And it was
Ooh.
telemarketing leads. So I would show up to the house and spend an hour there. And I come from a one call close background. Like, I mean, that's what it's all about. You go there, you close the deal, you don't leave without the paperwork signed. I mean, I'm a killer when it comes to that. And that's cool. And solar is a different game. It's such a bigger purchase.
It's
I've
different.
never
Yeah.
been like, you got to sign, right, and force them on the issue. But back to your question about the going in, oh, I like sports. That's absolutely wrong. So step one with anything that you do is you got to build rapport. That's step absolutely numero uno when it comes to sales. People
Mm-hmm.
buy from people who they like. You could actually have the best deal in the world, best pricing, all this stuff, but if they don't like you, they're not going to buy from you. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, have you ever experienced going somewhere where you wanted to get something and the sales rep just, I don't know, they smelt bad or their attitude, the way, and you're like, I wouldn't buy fucking shit from you for any
They
price.
give you,
Like, I will
yeah, they give you
absolutely
the
not,
ick.
I'm not giving you my business no matter what. Well, the opposite is true though.
Yeah.
People will actually maybe spend more than that they wanted to, or, they will buy from someone. It might not even be the best deal, but if they like the person, they're going to buy from them, maybe even regardless of some other factors because they like the person, right? So,
Yeah.
now going in and saying, oh, I like you. Once again, this goes back to integrity. Don't bullshit, right? Like, don't go in and say, I like sports, when you don't like sports, or, oh, wow, Cancun. I went there with my family, or Disneyland, or, but
They're
yeah,
like,
picking
where'd you
up on
go?
some, you do want to find stuff to relate to and talk a little bit and,
Yeah.
and build, and like you said,
Yes.
step number one, building rapport, but yeah, definitely don't go in
It's a
because
fine line.
it's definitely a fine line. And once again, homeowners pick up on bullshit. They sniff it out and it's
Mhm.
whack. And if you get caught up doing some shit like that, you're definitely not getting sorry. You blew it right from out the gates.
Yeah.
That's why it's all about integrity. Because I would not buy anything from someone who I found out that they even made a small little lie to me. I'm like, if you're lying to me
Right.
about this, what else are you lying to me about? And I want to start, a 4-6 month relationship with you? Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah. Totally agree.
No. So, all right, Cynthia, I want to ask you, for those who are looking to get started in solar sales or virtual solar sales, right? Whether,
Hmm.
they're from another industry or they're in the solar game and they just want to start going virtual, what is some advice that you would give to someone just getting started?
Ooh, okay. So, number one piece of advice is to try it your mentor's way first. Okay, get a mentor first and try your mentor's way first. Okay, because we have a lot of know-it-alls out there. I was one of them who come into the industry and they come in with their own tools, right? They're coming from maybe a different industry with their own experience and they think I'm going to do it this way, and then they're surprised when they don't have success. Well, the minute I started listening to my mentors, immediate success, and it was 10 times better than the success I tried with my own skills. So what I'm saying is bring your skills, tuck them in your pocket, get a mentor, listen to your mentor, do it their way first because they're coming from a place of experience, and then incorporate your style and then bring your skills into play after you try it their way first. Be open. A lot of people are afraid to ask questions. A lot of people are afraid to look dumb. Ask questions. I look dumb all the time. I ask questions still all the time. I'm still to this day, I'm always one of the most vocal people on a Zoom call. I'm like, wait, what's that about? Can you clarify that? What did you mean by that? Or asking, second level questions. And I find it surprising with the experience I have that other people aren't asking questions. So ask a lot of questions and take notes. That's it.
Definitely. I love that. I've asked a few people this, and yes, finding a good mentor, right? So like if there's something that you want to be successful at doing, find the person who's the most successful in your sphere that you can have access to and have them mentor you, right? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Success leaves clues. Just shadow them, emulate them. It's going to speed up your learning curve, 10x, because you're watching someone do it at a high level right in front of you, and take care of that mentor, take them out to lunch, buy them a cup of coffee, right? They're spending their time with you. That's one of the other great things, here, another plug for Powur, right? Is that it's all about a mentor-mentee relationship that we get people off the ground. So I love that you said that. Yes, finding a great mentor. And I think that's a great tip for anyone for any industry, right? Not just solar, find the best of the best and work with them.
Reach out to you're a great team builder. Reach out to Jarrett, reach out to myself. We'll show you. You listening is a whole nother thing, right? Like it's one thing for us to give advice and train, and them listening is a whole other, but we're here. I'm always willing to train people. And I know you are too, Jarrett.
Yeah, I love that. Well, look, Cynthia, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been an absolute blast. I love you to pieces. You have been a mentor to me during my career in solar, and I look up to you. And as I said in the beginning, if there was anybody that was going to knock me from number one premier closer to number two, it would be you. So before I let you go, you want to go ahead, plug your socials. How can people find Cynthia Alvidrez?
On Instagram, I'm most active on there. I'm at Solar with Cynthia, CYNTHIA. So you can find me there.
Okay, cool. Which I just followed you recently because I didn't realize that you did it.
I saw that. I was like, you're barely following me. What the heck?
I didn't know. I didn't even know. And I was like on Instagram and it had like a suggested follow Cynthia. And I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. And then you instantly that morning screenshotted me. You were like, oh, really? Now? I was like, I'm so sorry. So
I have never done that, by the way. I've never messaged anyone and given them heat. But when I saw it was you, I was like, wait a minute. This is a buddy. So what is going on? But yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun. Let's do it again sometime. And I love you to death and think you are a freaking rock star. And yeah, kill it. Loving the podcast too.
Thanks so much. All right, you guys. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. You can also follow me on the socials, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. All those links will be listed below. Now, if you're looking to get started on the path to selling solar virtually, Look no further than Powur. Powur is a decentralized solar platform that gives you the ability to sell 100% virtually in 25 plus states and growing. Their platform gives you the advantage to offer your clients a variety of different panels, inverters, roofs, batteries, and even EV chargers. Brands include Enphase, SolarEdge, Tesla, Franklin, and Span Smart Panels. Powur offers multiple zero-down financing options, including loans, PPAs, and leases. And with their revolutionary cost of goods sold model, 5 different streams of income, and world-class training, there is nothing else like it in the solar industry. If you're looking to get started, go to powur.com. That's POWUR.com/virtual solar pro/join and start selling solar virtually today.